master my goal this week, but I'll master it again afterwards. It's just one of those things. Like you said, I relapse, but hopefully I'll get back without making it a habit again.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is that you kind of take into account that you still want to go after that goal, even though your workload is getting heavy. And then with that, I heard you mention maintaining your household a few times. So I think that is something of importance to you, being that you mentioned it. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
I like things clean. I like things organized. I'm always, not always. For the last few years, I owned my own place, but I sold it to move here, and I moved in with somebody. Definitely clean too, just different clean. So it was just like a different home life, home environment. 4 dogs is definitely different than 1. So it's just little things like that. Used to having your own place versus being a part of somebody's place is just a different feeling. I've lived with people before in relationships, so but it's been a while that I've chosen to do that. So it's I'm glad, I'm happy with it. It's just there's times that I want my stuff done, and with time and everything else, it just kind of. And I think that would be the situation even if I lived on my own. Just getting laundry done. Like I like to get my laundry done, fold it, and put it away. And now I feel like let me just get it out of the dryer, and I'll come back to it, and it's there when I want to go to sleep. And I don't want to fold it at that point, but then I get frustrated in the morning if it's still there. So it's do I want to spend another 10-20 minutes awake and not make me the original goal of going to sleep on time, or do I want to wake up and be frustrated that my environment's not where I want it to be? So it's a choice.
So like you said, trying to find, again, that balance between this time, maybe sleep or, maintaining the household. And so you mentioned that it's been a while since you've lived with somebody. Can you tell me more about, like, that dynamic? Like, how has that...
It was an easy flow into it. For whatever reason, it works. And I've been so busy, so it's not even, we're like working opposite out, so it's like, just that I'm living in this place, like I don't even know.
Comfortable.
It's comfortable. Yeah, I was ready to move when I moved, so that wasn't, it's okay. Like I don't, I don't know. It's one of those things that happened so fast, that had it happen so fast, that I don't really get time to even think about it. I just know I have a place to go home to, and it feels like home.
So you haven't really had time to process it yet.
Yeah.
But like, you know that you feel happy about where you are.
Yeah. It feels like a home. It's not like I feel like I'm going back to a house. I feel like there's always a difference between house and home. So there's a good feeling.
Okay. So in addition to that, do you feel that maybe your dynamic now, as far as like, having more dogs and having more responsibilities, that kind of plays a part in why you're not getting as much sleep as you would like?
Possibly. Like, it's hard to tell. Like, I could use it as a blame. Like, when I'm in a mad mood and I just want to blame something, yeah. But I try to stop that because I'm happy that I'm there. So I'm trying to bite my tongue on that one every once in a while.
But it does play.
Yeah, but I think
it has some effect.
Yeah, I mean, if you're by yourself, you could choose your responsibilities.
Right.
But I also am an adult, and I know most people have responsibilities, whether it's kids or parents or something else in their life that they have to take responsibility for.
Right.
So I know I don't have much to. I can't use it too much, but it's they're older, so they require a few extra things, but not as much time as other things. So like, if I don't know, it's easy to think about other people's life situations and can't really blame it.
So you feel almost, is it guilty if you try to use that as kind of what you said as an excuse as to maybe why that could be affecting you, because other people deal with so much, and so it's kind of just a part of life.
I guess kind of like it could be guilt, but guilt enough to motivate me to keep going. Like yeah, I mean, I feel like it's just a part of deciding to go back to school and the choices I made to go back to school. I know it's short term. It's just sometimes you're in the middle of it and you're like, what did I choose to do? But it's also for a reason. So keep it going.
So you basically are able to like kind of weigh the pros and cons of the decisions that you made, or the decisions that you make in your life. So you mentioned making that decision to go back to school and realizing that it is short term, so it's something that you may be able to accomplish. Can you tell me more about maybe your feelings toward being in school right now, like being that it is short term?
It's short term. There's a lot of changes that had to take place to do it, so it feels weird. I've worked since I was a teenager, pretty much full time. So I was going to school. I could manage it. My friend, like, I didn't do it. I made sure I could pay everything I wanted to pay, going part time. But it's just a really weird feeling. Used to a certain lifestyle, and it's just different. Paying for your insurance and making sure you got the best plan for the money that you really want to put out when you never go to the doctor. Little things like that you don't really think about because it's just a part of life, and then it's like all of a sudden you're like, kind of learn a different culture again. You're kind of it's kind of thrown into a different mix. But
so you mentioned feeling weird. So can you kind of elaborate more on why it feels weird?
So I guess something that I've always like expectation, I guess, that I'm almost 40, so this is what I'm going to do. Like you have expectations of what that person would do at that age. So doing less than what I think a 40-year-old is supposed to be doing. But in other ways, like I have friends that truly live in the moment, that are older than me, and I find some of it inspirational too, because they can pack their stuff up and work for a couple months and then travel for a couple months and work a couple months and travel a couple months and nowhere to live, no retirement to fall back on, and they don't care. So I always worry about like I always have that worry, I guess, of what if, but I also have that dream of just saying whatever and just packing my stuff up and going. So it's just a torn between two expectations or two morals, two mindsets.
Okay, so it feels weird because you feel like there's a certain expectation that you should be living toward, being your age bracket, and then you have friends that are either same age or older that kind of live a different life. And is it like that you idolize it, or you wish you could have both?
Yeah, both would be great. Yeah, maybe idolize was a good word. Since I was young, though, like something I've always but I always also, on the other hand, wanted to meet the expectation of whether it's my family or my own personal goals, that even though, I want to go travel and I want to go sell bananas on the street, so I just have to go do what I want to do. I also want running water. I want a shower at the end of the day. I like to be able to go to the grocery store and buy what I want. I don't want to, there's little things like that I've lived life where I don't have everything I want, and now that, as an adult, I've reached goals that I can. I like to be able to do that.
So you mentioned kind of seeing the pros and cons of both lifestyles and kind of knowing what you want for yourself. And you mentioned, like, you've idolized that since you were younger, so do you feel as though it's been like maybe societal influences or family influences that have kind of guided your outlook on how you want to live and where you want to be in your life?
Yeah, definitely. My family definitely has a huge influence on my choices. More when I was younger, and then it's still weird though not to necessarily follow their I don't know, guidance, expectation. I'm not sure really what to use, but they do have an influence on me, and they're influenced by society, and I'm just kind of in the middle of it. So like I have my own thoughts, but they're also an important part of my life. So I try to keep them okay with the situation.
Okay, and so you mentioned your family having a lot of influence, and them being influenced by society. So can you maybe like elaborate a little bit more in detail as to how your family has influenced as far as like maybe expected norms?
My mom raised us all, and she so there's four of us. She raised all four of us. She was only a teacher assistant, babysitter before that. But she did that so she could raise us and be home afterwards. So it was choices she made. But she did it and told us we're going to college. Like we are going to get an education, and she wanted us to make sure we had a career that was insured. Kind of. She didn't have to worry about us losing our job or anything like that. So it was like one of her desires.
So she was very future focused, kind of wanting to make a better life for her children, and so you kind of follow in those steps of kind of knowing what you expect for yourself and wanting to be satisfied with where you are in life.
So she just has high expectations and morals and expects us to live up to those. So, and if you didn't, it was just easier. Not necessarily easier, we wanted to, but just kind of ingrained in us from an early age.
So kind of having those feelings of like pleasing her, and then in return that made you feel good about yourself because you knew you were meeting those expected kind of standards.
Yeah. And then each of them. So now it's just not my mom. So then, like, if you don't, it's still disappointing your siblings as well. Just kind of the family name, kind of what's expected.
So a lot of influence on kind of your decisions and how you live your life and kind of what you decide to do in order to, ensure that you're making your family proud and, not letting anybody down. Okay. Well, we only have a little bit of time left, so kind of want to do a wrap up. We talked about a lot of different things today, things that I felt were really important to you. You mentioned a few times your lack of sleep and wanted to get more sleep, and we kind of broke that down and talked about what that looked like or what it could look like as far as your goal. We talked about relapse, so understanding that it's normal, and then you understand that although it happened, that you still want to try to pursue your goal even after. We talked about maintaining a clean household and what that was like and how it's made you feel. And in addition to that, kind of just talking about influences on where you want to be in life, leading to your imbalance of kind of not having satisfaction right now, currently where you are. And so I think that something that you should take home with you is just keeping that positive mindset that, although you may not be where you would like to be in life right now, you still have that positive mindset, you still have that goal-oriented outlook, and that, you're still able to kind of push yourself toward where you expect to be. And so next session we can continue to work toward trying to figure out more about maybe why you feel as though you're not satisfied with life right now.
Sounds great.